Dear viewers, welcome back to the analysis of Yoleno TV. Now, during the weekend, we were hit by news that 400 KQ pilots downed their tools. And one of the reasons that they communicated was because their grievances were being neglected. And as a result, 10,000 passengers got affected
by the hardline stance adopted by the management on the issues raised has led to thousands of passengers having the travel plans inconvenienced. Long before our members resorted to this industrial action, we have been seeking audience with the KQ management to ensure that we do not get here. However, our members' issues have never been addressed, and we are left with no other option than to withdraw our labor to bring the management to the table for a sober discussion. We again reiterate that management has made no meaningful effort to have a discussion on these matters. Since CALPA issued the industrial action notice, the only meetings held so far have been under the auspices of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KQ, and the national government through the Ministry of Transport as well as Ministry of Labor. We appreciate the efforts made by KQ and the government to resolve this impasse, with the most recent meeting held yesterday co-chaired by the CS Roads and Transport and CS Labor. The purpose of this industrial action is not to test the new government, seeing that they have just taken office. There are painstaking issues.
The center of this controversy is the CEO for KQ. Weekend, we also learned that KQ makes 300 million on a day-to-day basis. What does that mean? That means that for these 3 days, close to 3 days, the country has lost close to 1 billion. And as if that's not enough, passengers have been advised to cancel their flights. Some have been advised to rebook with other flights. Some have been advised to stay on and that a rebooking will be done for them in a near future once the stalemate has been sorted. The whole issue becomes interesting because it is Kenya Kwanza in government, and it is Murkomen, the former senator, as a transport CS. And the question that I think I'd like to ask myself, and I think I'd like to ask you, my viewer, what has Murkomen done to salvage the scenario? If you ask me, I'll tell you nothing. The CS said that this was a deliberate economic sabotage. I think, to my understanding, that is someone lacking the need to put, warring factions on a negotiating table. That is not a remark that the CS would have made that time, at the time when the two factions were up in arms against each other. This economic sabotage is not something that ought to have come from the transport CS, but nevertheless, that is what the transport CS said. So what is the implication of that remark? Simple. That meant that the strike will go on because Murkomen already termed it an economic sabotage. The thing that the team of pilots wanted, the union wanted, was that they could be there could be a negotiating table whereby they could talk about these grievances. Understand it's all about the pension funds that the government, I think, decided to withdraw. But again, there was a 15 days notice. That means that time was enough for the government to sit down with them and iron out these grievances. Because, mind you, KQ is the face of Kenya, the face of Africa. Kindly check some of those happenings before we go on with this analysis.
I can't calm down because I'm up there, and so you come up here with me. It's called emotional intelligence. If you have issues with your government, go deal out there. I'm doing business with you. I bought my ticket. So deal with me the way I deal with you. I gave you my money, you fly me back to Ghana, okay? So on that same agreement that you have a problem with your government, I got issues with you too. Because you should have thought about me first. Me, your customer first. Okay? You have issues with your government. You can go ahead.
Allow us to apologize. First of all,
No. I'm going through pain. You know what pain is? I'm going through pain. You might not believe me. I'm going to walk into a wedding event. All the details are on my phone. My plan is I land in Ghana. My driver is waiting to take me to the wedding to MC the wedding. And the assumption is that the assumption about Africans is that when we book something, the whole day is for travel. No, the whole day is not for travel.
so we are doing our best.
No, your best is not enough.
You can't be doing your best now. It's too late to be doing your best.
You got to do your best well. Your government did not do the best, and I'm supporting you. Right, let's go right now. Let's do that now.
I want to be on that flight. So who am I going with?
We can't do it in that. So take us. Yeah.
So 6 months ago, Murkomen would be saying Uhuru and Raila failed, and that when Ruto takes power, we will fix the mess in day one, the mess at KQ. But in Murkomen's case now, he has just made the situation worse by making a statement which escalates the grievances further. So I read malice in that statement, but I think there is lack of proper skills to manage a crisis such as the KQ crisis, because mind you, this is not now politics. Senator Murkomen, the former senator who is now the CS for transport, has been used to a lot of politics, attacking Uhuru, attacking Raila, attacking any other leader within the government, telling the people or rather the leadership how they cannot deliver. But what implication is that statement having on this crisis? That implication is that there is no hope from the CS end to ending this stalemate. I think the right thing that the government would have done, sitting down with these pilots, because literally, what I'd like you to see is that KQ will be sued for this stalemate, and actually the passengers are going to sue KQ because the interference that has come from KQ is the passengers are not to bear this cost. I'm thinking of a passenger who's supposed to fly to probably UK. This passenger had checked out from his hotel, and this passenger is supposed to be distant to probably Canada or any other place in a particular day. Now he misses the flight and is forced to go back to the hotel, check in again at his own cost. This passenger will miss that event. So again, I'm looking at this passenger saying that now the days that this passenger is going to spend in the hotel while trying to rebook again, trying to reschedule his plans, who is going to take care of these bills? So that's the reason why I find that one of the biggest mistakes that the Kenya Kwanza is making is play hardball in this scenario. What the Kenya Kwanza government ought to have done is to put the warring factions in a negotiating table, come to an amicable solution. Because of course, in any kind of crisis, a crisis like this one, there is always a win-win kind of arrangement. A win-win in that if the pilots are demanding that Kilavuki be fired because he's incompetent, or because maybe he's trying to be an Idi Amin in this management of KQ, then Kilavuki should stay aside or be reassigned in other trusts. They can swap that position with another person who is capable, a person who is a bit friendly, and the person who can work with the KQ pilots, or can work with the fraternity of KQ well. So I think that is something that the government can do. The government can reshuffle. Government has powers, unless there is malice in this forceful stay of Kilavuki, the CEO of KQ, in that body, or in that parastatal body actually. So the question that lingers in many people's mind is, why is it so hard for the government to notice that Kilavuki is at the center of stage of this controversy? Why is it so hard for the former senator, for the current transport CS to understand that truly this issue needs to be addressed, and it has to be addressed immediately. Because close to 10,000 passengers, that's a lot of number. Where will this rescheduling be done? Should the strike end today? What is likely to happen? What's likely to happen that these people are likely to demand for a refund, total refund, and probably a compensation of the damages? I saw in one of those clips whereby there was a beauty pageant, one of the beauty pageant in Kenya missed her flight. As a result, she could not represent Kenya, in the diaspora. So that's a step back. If I may refer to it as a sport, that's a step back, economical step back, because in terms of tourism, that was going to market our country, but then she could not do that. That means that now going forward, that's another mistake, terrible mistake. So there are so many mistakes that are being committed with the Kenya government, and I think one of the things that like the likes of Rigathi Gachagua would have channeled his energy on is not to attack Raila Amolo Odinga, not to attack Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, but Rigathi Gachagua would have paid a visit to the KQ fraternity, because it is true and it's evident that the people expected a lot from this government. Because when you promise people heaven and then they realize that you can't even deliver a hotel, and then the little that they had is being taken away from them, then that calls for a total rebellion. So what we are experiencing with the KQ fraternity is a total rebellion of the KQ pilots. All of them decided to down their tools. 400 pilots. That means all the flights were grounded. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you think Transport CS Murkomen will handle this scenario amicably? Do you think he has what it takes to handle the scenario? Because from what we see from the history, it's evident that Murkomen as a lawyer has not won a single case. So that is attributed by the fact that he has some hard stand, and we noticed that hard stand during the weekend when he was making that press statement. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to rest my case there, but I'd like to urge any first-time viewer or any regular viewer who has not subscribed to our channel to please take a moment and subscribe to Yoleno TV. You can give us a like, you can hit the notification bell, so that every time we upload a video, you will always become the first person to get notified. And once again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay blessed until we meet again for another analysis.